Are you ready?
Hey peeps, how's it going? Happy Friday. Starting the weekend off with some news that's been breaking the last few days here, and we're starting to learn a little bit more and more every day about it. But the Houston Rockets have went ahead and said that everyone on their roster, with the exception of James Harden, is available for trade offers. So now, does that necessarily mean they're going to blow it up? No, they are weighing their options. But I called it. I really did. Right as soon as I seen the news that Chris Paul was on the market, I knew Pistons fans were going to want him. And sure enough, within 5 minutes of me retweeting that and calling it, all Pistons Twitter main accounts were demanding this to happen. Do I want Chris Paul here? Well, I think I found the perfect video to sum up how I feel about this.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
This is worse than Mike Conley, okay? Now, let me take out the fact that Chris Paul and Blake Griffin don't like each other. And that's why they let go of Chris Paul. They traded him to the Rockets because he didn't want to play with Blake Griffin, and Blake Griffin didn't want him there. They were two alphas, and Blake Griffin wanted the Clippers to be his team because he was drafted there. They wanted him to be the key. And then they brought in Chris Paul, and then it became Chris Paul's team, and they were really fighting. No one really knew if it was Chris Paul's team or Blake Griffin's team. They never really coexisted. I mean, on the court, they played well, but behind the locker room, it didn't work. They don't like each other. They're not buddies. They're not friends. So, with that being said, that's probably the main reason this shouldn't happen. But if that wasn't enough to discourage you away, because everyone's like, oh, they could always kiss and make up, his contract is ridiculous. I believe he's got 3 years left, getting $40 million each year, and I think it gets up to like 43 the last year, and that is garbage. That is crazy bad. He is not worth it at all. And if the contract was reasonable, I would jump on this trade in a heartbeat. But man, that contract's so bad. That's just a big head scratcher there, man. I don't know how they are going to move on from that trade. I think the Lakers are the only ones willing to do this because they wanted him a long time ago. Him and LeBron are buddies. But man, dude, giving up some young pieces for that, I don't know. And to be honest with you guys, I said this on Pistons Center Court Wednesday night. I don't think it's Chris Paul's fault. I don't think it's the players' fault per se. I think it's Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni is just not a winner. You've seen it when he went to Phoenix and stuff. You know, they have the best offense in the league and one of the worst defenses in the league. And you can't just have players like Trevor Ariza and PJ Tucker and Avery Bradley come in and out of your team and not be good defensively. Like, you should be good, but your defensive schemes are booty, like really bad. His style of coaching is never going to win a championship unless Mike D'Antoni, determines to play defense. He is never ever going to win anything. It doesn't work. It does not work. And I think the Pistons franchise over the years has shown that. You don't have to be the flashiest or the prettiest. You just got to play hard defensively, and you're going to win games. They don't have a problem winning games, but they can't win big games. And I know as soon as they were comparing them to Golden State, they were done for. No one can live up to what Golden State's doing. Because no matter how good offensively Golden State is, they are just equally as good defensively. People take that for granted. Not everyone's going to be the Warriors. The Pistons rebuilding should not look to be the Warriors. The Pistons have a foundation here of Detroit basketball of hard nose, do whatever it takes to get the W kind of mentality. Learn from what the Rockets have done, people. The Rockets screwed themselves. They're not going to win anything. They don't have money to spend to draw on free agency. They have James Harden, who is not a very particular great defender at all. Probably one of the worst and laziest defenders in the league. Now, offensively, this dude is probably one of the best scorers, maybe with the exception of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, that I've ever seen. I mean, I put Kevin Durant in there because Kevin Durant does what he's doing at 7 foot tall, but he can do whatever he wants any given moment. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due. And they're going to be a playoff team. I mean, if you have James Harden and you're not a playoff team, I don't know what's wrong with you. But that Chris Paul, Clint Capella disappeared. You don't have anyone else. And trading for Chris Paul hurts you. So that's also another point the Pistons should take away. You don't do trades to make trades, just to do them, just to bring in a flashy name. I mean, the Rockets gave away Lou Williams, who should have been the first all-star off the bench this year, in my opinion. That dude is just bananas. They almost beat the Warriors because of him. Patrick Beverley, a guy who is high on my list to come to Detroit, as long as he's on yours too. And Montrezl Harrell, who's becoming one of my favorite players to root for in the league because all he does is hustle. Plus, I think they gave him a first draft pick too, all for Chris Paul. That is so bad looking at it now. So that's why you don't trade young pieces away. And I know Lou Will's not really young, and I know Pat Beverly's not young. Excuse me, that sounded weird. But Harrell was young at the time. I mean, you could have had this guy. I mean, him and Capella could have been playing together. That would have been nasty with James Harden. You don't make trades just to do trades. Learn from the Rockets' mistakes. Sure, it might work for a season and a half or so, but not for the long haul. Inevitably, what the Warriors did and becoming so great is through the draft. I mean, they drafted Draymond Green, Curry, and Clay, and Harrison Barnes, and they won championship. And then they lost another one. And then they had still enough money to go out there and get a big free agent like Kevin Durant. You build through the draft, you keep those players no matter what. Now, people like Darko are going to be busts. There are going to be busts for the Pistons to come in years. Giggity. But nonetheless, you got to at least try to develop people. So, I don't know, man. I just kind of rambled on for a little bit. But I do not want Chris Paul here at all. None so ever. So, keep that in mind. So, all things being said, peeps, do you guys want Chris Paul here? If somehow they could work their magic to bring him here with that terrible contract and him and Blake Griffin not liking him, with all those things set aside, in a fantasy world, this Chris Paul is not worth it, in my opinion. But I'm sure some of you guys want him here, so explain to yourselves why you want them here. But that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to enjoy the weekend. Got a video guys for you tomorrow. Still have to work on Sunday's video, but that will come in time. I think I'm just going to go live stream. Haven't done a live stream in quite a long time. So stay tuned for those. Instagram, Twitter links in the description. Check those out. As well as all the DSA members are there. And I will see you peeps in the next one. Peace.